back in the day anyway. So it used to be that you'd stop in at the church and you'd get your stamp, at the church from the local, you'd go to mass and they'd stamp your passport. Now that's not true. So actually you can get a stamp in a bar, you can get a stamp in a hotel. So we found ourselves sometimes sitting and having a little glass of beer and getting our pilgrim stamp. So it was that's kind of the modern way, I guess. You could say that they have accommodated culturally to the modern pilgrim. So I don't know if that's enough, Paul, enough elaboration. Francie, another question.
I have a concern about asking too many questions, but I seem to be full of them. So I don't want to take time from others if we need to answer soon. My question is to Judith, which do you think it would be appropriate to ask Barbara to post that quote about the one about the stomach and the cud and pulling something up from the stomach back to your memory? That kind of, I'd love to hear that. And the other broader question is, I hear this as religious education. Barbara, I think you and Paul and many others, but you're speaking now, Barbara, about a religious experience. This is ministry in my view, and how to share it with a wider meeting, because some of us, 16 of us, were able to come here today. But I would like this kind of ministry, especially about the connection between the body and spirit, to be shared in the wider meeting, because I would like this conversation to be open and the language to be there for more than the 16 of us who are present. That's my request, I guess, to Judith and Barbara, and Paul may have things to contribute from his travels that would be ministry or widely shared. That's my question. Would that work?
Well, that's one reason why we wanted to record this, so we can make, if the recording is successful, then Paul can make it available to anybody in the meeting. Paul has a YouTube channel, and he can post this on his, if you want to. I don't know if you want to, Paul. If not, I can post. I also have a YouTube channel that has some funny YouTubes on it.
Mine is a poetry channel. I'm a little concerned about confusing people
overlapping.
who look for poetry.
Okay, well, I can post it on my YouTube then. No worries.
Yeah.
And anyway, we can make it. We can send the link, and people can watch it.
And it can be posted on the website
even,
also.
Yeah,
link it from the website.
Yeah, post it on the website, that too.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants to hear it.
Fantastic.
Since Francie felt like she was asking too many questions, I'll ask Francie's questions for her. She asked a question of Barbara about whether or not what things Barbara had brought with her that were sort of integrated into her life now. And I want you to maybe just elaborate a little bit more on that. I didn't hear you get a chance to answer that piece of all the things Francie asked.
Well, I guess I didn't answer that because I'm not sure I know how to answer that. I have to say, when I came back from this trip, I was exhausted. I was really, and even my husband was tired too, and he's fitter than I am. I don't know why the jet lag really knocked us out. We were so tired. And maybe I haven't fully assimilated what this trip was, but I am not sure that I brought anything back except for my pure joy in the memory of the experience. This is sort of a once in a lifetime trip, once in a lifetime experience. I'm 72. I'd love to be able to do a trip like this again, but I may not be able to. And it's really been wonderful. So thank you. And I see Mary, Mary's put in the chat.
Oh, well, I just wanted to thank you. It's really been inspiring. And I love that you showed pictures, and I heard you, preparing for this, and you did it. I just think these I know the body and the mind are totally connected. It's just part of my being. And I totally love that you're talking about that, and makes me want to go.
Oh, well, and I have to thank you, Mary, in particular, because when I was talking about this trip, you said, don't forget to take a tarp.
Well,
Ah.
I
And
still
so I
have.
started thinking, oh, I bet I need a rain poncho. We were all glad we had our ponchos.
Well, I actually, here is the tarp that I took to Orléans, Beaugency, Notre-Dame de Cléry when I was 18 on my bicycle trip. I had this very tarp, and it was kind of a journey because my father had worked on relief, trying to get Jewish people out of southern France in Marseille. And so we went to all the villages where he worked.
Oh,
And
cool.
so I worked a lot. So I laughed when you showed the pictures of tarp. You can keep your tarp and you wear it.
I will, especially if we have another winter like this one.
Yeah, they're very handy.
And
So
pretend you're a
Ronnie-
monk.
Yeah. Ronnie has a question, and so does Nita. So Ronnie first.
Okay, Nita's been up there for a while, so if she wants to go, or they want.
Oh, Nita? Yeah. Oh, okay.
So mine's very quick, Barbara. I'm wondering if you would be willing to think about bringing this holistic, whole body spiritual practice to an FGC process. You know, the Lectio Divina and the quotes and the whole holy, holistic body prayer. Just a question if you would be willing to think about that.
Well, as a matter of fact, there was a call for interest groups at FGC, and they extended the deadline. And anytime anybody extends the deadline, it makes me think that there weren't enough requests. So I actually did propose an interest group on Lectio Divina where I'm going to talk about this. It's just one evening, and they haven't approved it. So, but you're right. Thank you, Nita. I definitely should do that. Yeah, in the
please.
future. Or
Thank you,
even
Fran.
something, maybe something at Ben Lomond Quaker Center, or even something at Strawberry Creek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And okay, Ronnie.
Thank you. Did I miss it? Because sometimes my brain kind of starts connecting to things that it shouldn't be connecting with. Did I miss you explaining the difference between spiritual and religious to you? I mean, kind of got, to me, it's connection. And that makes sense to me. But did you speak to that, or did anyone?
I did not speak to that, but I think most people most people think of the word religious as related to a particular religion, whereas spiritual is a connection to the divine that is kind of separate to your identification as a religious person. I don't know if that makes sense. So the reason why I felt like I was saying religion, or my religious reason for doing the pilgrimage, is really because I have started to sort of return to my Christian origin, not in the same way as I was raised as a Christian, but in the old-timey Quaker way, thinking about the light of Christ within. So to me, that is associated with a particular religion and religious organization, which is Quakerism. And so my body prayer is very much associated with my sense of the light of Christ within. So my pilgrimage was, I think, both spiritual and religious.
And you saved €3 by telling the guy at the end of the walk.
And I saved myself €3. My husband did not get one because he didn't want to spend the money. Okay, Francie, one more question.
Yeah, it's for Paul.
Okay, good.
Paul, I wondered, I think you went to England after Turkey, and was there anything that came up for you there or in any other part of your travel that you think might be interesting, or you might wish to share with the meeting about your experience in England in particular, or you went to a meeting? I don't know if there's anything there you'd want to
I
share.
really had blinders on when I was in England. I was so blissed out by Istanbul and so intrigued by the Ottoman and Byzantine empires. I really did not want to see anything about the British Empire. So every time I walked past a monument, I kept my blinders on. Yeah, it was great. It was kind of a decompression time. And I did have some very sweet experiences there, but mostly I was just chewing Istanbul cud.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a follow-up question for you, Paul, too, and you may have said this before. I'm so sorry I didn't get to right at 12:30, but I'm so happy you have a recording that I'll be able to catch, and I hope we can get together with you personally. But did you have friends of your family? Because I know your mom and dad taught there in Turkey for some time, and were there any of their friends or their kids or stuff like that who
It's been-
you connected with?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So, and the American institution that oversaw the various churches and hospitals that my mother's family was associated with, those institutions have been turned over to Turkish foundations, and none of the idealism of the missionaries has carried over. And that's the beginning of a long conversation about my own reconciling with with that loss. These institutions were started in the 1820s and survived a lot of different phases of Turkish life, but could not survive Erdogan. So happy to talk about that later. It's a big topic.
Yes.
But that's the short answer.
Yeah. Well, Kathy and I'll have you up for the afternoon.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, I think that might be it. Thank you for coming.
both. This was an excellent get together, and I'm really glad we're going to be able to share it more widely via the
Good.
Yes, thank you both, Barbara and Paul. I think it was just quite wonderful for you both to share your experiences. Shall we end with a few minutes of silent worship?
Please.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I enjoyed this. Thanks for asking us to do
Good.
this. This was fun.
Right.